All right, so we look at the fundamental events we're expecting this afternoon. From there, we check the charts to know the technical direction the market is expected to go. So by 2:30 p.m. today, we have core retail sales and retail sales from the United States coupled with employment cost index. Yeah, good afternoon, Peter Chukes. Mr. Motosho, good afternoon. Dauda. Sorry, this is analysis session. So no online lesson. No. It's an analysis session. That's for Mr. Dauda. Good afternoon, Madam Onaji. You're welcome on board. All right, so we're looking at three fundamental events this afternoon. Oladile Esther, good afternoon to you, ma. Core retail sales. Now, core retail sales and retail sales are very, very related. So there's a possibility the data may come out in the same direction. So if all data comes out good for the dollar, we will see a massive bullish movement on the United States dollar. And if all comes out bad for the dollar, we'll see a massive bearish movement on the dollar. But then we see that all the, the news we're expecting are not, all of them are not related. These two are related, but this last one is not related to them in any way. So it's possible to have a scenario where probably we have the news good for core retail sales and retail sales and bad for the employment cost index. In that instance, we'll see a spike in the market, buying and selling simultaneously. It's advisable to stay out in such a scenario. So the best scenario we're looking out for is when all the data is good, where we can buy, or where all is bad, where we can sell. But then when we even get to the chart, we'll know the direction we should look out for more. And I think we should look out for more of the bearish direction on the dollar, not even the bullish side. So the expectation more, I'll show you that in the chart shortly. The expectation should be more of a bad outcome, for the dollar so that we can look at an opportunity to sell. All right, so let me take you to the chart now and show you that view I have of the upcoming news events this afternoon. Now, if you joined my analysis yesterday, you observe I told you of a bullish outlook on the dollar index. This is the dollar index on the weekly time frame. Price closed as a rejection candle. On the weekly time frame, we have three rejection candles here. The last being the one for last week, closed in a bearish. Giving us actually overall sentiment is bullish. But since yesterday, we've had more of a bearish outlook on the US dollar. So that gives a short-term bearish sentiment on the dollar. Price is likely to go bearish, possibly to hit this support zone on the weekly time frame from where we can expect a bounce to the bullish direction. So that's why we have a bearish outlook on the dollar for this afternoon. So with that being said, we'll be looking at the USD CHF and possibly the USD JPY. Now for the USD CHF, on the weekly time frame, price has been making a series of lower lows. This is a lower low, a lower low, a lower low, and last 2 weeks was a lower low. Technically, overall bullish sentiment, but that is in the long term. In the short term, just like we saw on the dollar index, price may have to close up that support, before any further movement upwards. So I'm seeing the possibility of price, coming to test this trend line or this support here before we expect a bullish breakout. So with this, I have a bearish outlook on the dollar this afternoon. So the news comes out bad for the dollar for all three fundamental events. Please take note of that. It's only if it comes out bad for all the three events, you may sell the USD CHF. And if you sell the USD CHF, we are only looking at possibly a movement of some 20-30 pips, and you should be out. It should be like more of it's kind of a scalp, because once price hits that trend line or hit the support zone, we may be expecting a bounce back to the bullish direction. So it's a short-term trade. I want you to take note of that as you plan to trade. Now, after the news just comes out 2:30 p.m. after the market is free to continue its technical, movement. So once the news is over, we're back to technical. So on the technical, we can look at the chart and have our outlook for other financial assets for the end of the day. till the end of the day, rather. Now, I'll be looking at gold because we have a lot of people trading gold. And this is gold on the daily time frame. If you joined my analysis yesterday, I told you then that price was going to go to hit the resistance up there from where we may expect possibly a reversal to the downside. So price has gone to hit the resistance above as analyzed at the beginning of the week. And price is hanging around, is trading around that resistance zone as we speak. But then the next wave is that we expect a movement downward. So how are we going to capture that movement? Let's go down to 1 hour. I've checked the 4 hour. Now I'm on 1 hour. Now on 1 hour, I'm seeing price is trying to form a head and shoulder pattern, which will trigger us into that bearish outlook. And on the 1 hour time frame, there's also the neckline region. So if price breaks out below the neckline region, we are expecting to see a further bearish breakout. And don't forget the confirmation, your RSI should be below 50, at that point. So I hold a bearish outlook on gold. I hold a bearish outlook. Now, trade gold with a lot of caution. I always advise that because of recent volatility which I've seen on gold. But technically, we have a bearish outlook on gold. Now, other instruments I'm looking out for, some are swing, and I'm looking at the AUD card. Now, the AUD card on the weekly time frame, even from the monthly time frame, price is in an overall downtrend. That's saying that the trend is your friend. Overall trend for AUD card is bearish. So technically, we expect price, to continue in that direction. Now, on the 4 hour time frame, we can see we have a rising wedge and a pattern that's looking like a head and shoulder pattern. It's still in formation, but if it comes downwards and breaks out below that trend line, definitely we'll see a bigger bearish movement on the AUD card. Again, your confirmation will be your RSI below 15 and possibly your MACD below 0, though that's not compulsory, but on the minimum, you should have price breakout below the lower trend line with your RSI below 15. So we're bearish on the AUD card, and it's a swing. So that's a swing for those who are swing traders. Now, another instrument I'm looking at is the GBP NZD. GBP NZD. Now, this instrument, is in an overall bullish trend. You can see we've had a massive bullish wave movement here. So technically, we should expect a further movement to the upside on the weekly time frame. On the daily, there is equally a previous resistance, rather turning support, which may trigger us again into the bullish direction. So if you flip down to the 4 hour time frame, we have a falling wedge pattern from where we expect price to break to the upside. So anytime a new candle breaks out above rather, that's upper trend line with RSI above 50, you're free to trigger a buy on the GBP NZD. So we're bullish on the GBP NZD. All right, I'll check two other instruments that are already listed here. USD JPY, USD CAD, and NAS 100. So let's check them out. For USD JPY, it followed my analysis of yesterday. I said that it was range bound. Either price could break out above or below the box. It has broken out below the box. If you took that yesterday, you should be in profit now. Currently, there is no setup for USD JPY at the moment. There is none at the moment. That's not what we expected it to do yesterday. So we move on from there. The next is a USD CAD. You can see that all these pairs with the dollar as the base currency are trending downwards. I said it that dollar index is trending downwards, USD JPY, USD CHF, they're trending downwards. So also the USD card price in this instance has come back to a previous support level. So technically, we should be looking at a reversal on USD card because price has clearly touched that support on the daily time frame. Now, on the 1 hour time frame, now this is not complete yet, but I think this might form an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which may lead to a bullish trigger. So we need to watch and see if that is what will actually play out. For the moment, I know it's going to be bullish, but how it will come is what I don't know. So if this pattern works out as I'm showing now, then we will expect to see a breakout to the upside. And if price breaks out above the zone there with RSI above 50, you may be free to trigger a buy on the USD card. All right, finally, I check out NAS 100 for Darlington White. NAS 100. All right, so on the weekly time frame, price hit a support zone last week, and technically, we should expect a further bullish movement this week. Yesterday, price closed with a reversal candlestick pattern. Sorry, that's last Friday. So yesterday was a bullish movement. There's a chance for an upward movement on this instrument. But let's see if we can get how to trade that. All right, so on 1 hour time frame, this is actually an inverse head and shoulder where price has broken out. A breakout already happened with this region being the neckline. So preferably if I'm using this should be the neckline, yeah. So I remove the other one. All right. So if you want to trade NAS 100, you need to wait for price to break above this trend line upwards. And you may look at targeting the next resistance level, which is right here. So if you're a lover of NAS 100 or the person that asked about this question, wait for a clear break above that trend line and trigger a buy to the next resistance zone or level up here. All right, so with that, I've come to the end of the analysis this afternoon. Amit Shitu, I will oblige you now, but please next time post your request early. All right, so this is a Euro USD. So while the dollar has been going bearish, Euro USD has been bullish because for the Euro USD, the dollar is a quote currency. And price already hit that resistance zone on the weekly time frame. So technically, we're going to be expecting a reversal on Euro USD. All right, so we have a range zone on Euro USD. Technically, we're looking for more of a bearish movement. So if the news comes out, sorry, not even, well, maybe the news or not the news. If we have price breakout below this region, we can trigger a sell. Otherwise, if price decides to go to the upside also, once it breaks out clearly above the box, you may trade a buy on Euro USD. All right, that'll be all from my analysis this afternoon. Do trade safe and enjoy the rest of the day. Don't forget tomorrow is NFP. Time is 2 p.m. live. Do join us for live NFP trading. Bye-bye.